Yo, what is up, guys? This is RizzyPOW, and this is going to be week 7 of the NPL, the National Pokeball League. And today we're going to be going up against Razorwolf 24. Last week, if you guys did not see that, that was actually about 2 weeks ago, so it was a while, but we went up against Abe or Fourth and the Newcastle Umbreon, which kind of still upset about the game. I feel like I choked that game away, and I'm still really upset at myself. But yeah, that game could have gone completely different if I made a different play. If you guys want to see that, just make sure to go to my channel and just look at my last video. But I'm also sorry that this video is going to be up about like a day late. And we also had a break week last week because of Summer Showdown. But yeah, hopefully this ends up actually getting up on Monday and it's only one day late. I think it should. I'm actually recording this just after I wake up. I took a shower and now I'm doing this to start my day. So sorry I ended up getting this up a day late. I was actually really busy because I actually am back home from college just for the weekend for the 3-day weekend because it's Labor Day and everything, because my uncle and aunt are actually visiting from Australia, so I came over to meet them. And it was pretty fun, but unfortunately I didn't realize how hard I would have been able to get a time to record, and it was really difficult for me, but we're finally here. If you guys want to see the conference standings, they are here right now. I am actually second overall in my conference after losing to Abe week 1, and look at A's fucking score, 4-2 with a -3 differential. That's hilarious. Yeah, that's pretty funny, but he's still over me even though he has negative differential, and me and Trevor the only guys here rocking with positive differential in our conference. If you guys just want to see the conference wins and losses, we're over here for everyone. That they're over there, and we're overall second in our conference. I'm just kidding. We're actually 7th, which is not awful, but it's not where I want to be. I want to be like somewhere around here, and I want to end up taking the first seed in our conference eventually this season. But this week against Razor is going to be pretty important. It's an out-of-conference match, so even though it's like not as important because I'm not knocking someone else in my conference lower, I still want to win this week because in case I want to get like above like someone, like for example, if Abe loses his out of conference match this week, then I'm gonna be able to go above him. It depends on who wins and who loses, but if everyone else wins, I want to be able to beat Razor to stay up on par with them. So that's just the plan that I'm looking like. What I'm thinking of when I'm going into this match, but unfortunately this matchup is actually it's actually pretty difficult. So let's get into the team right over here. I'm just gonna show the teams. They're going to be on the side on the screen right over here, but as you can see, Razor actually made a ton of drops and transactions right before he battled me, and he ended up picking up Ninetales plus Venusaur, which if you guys do not know, I am really weak to weather because I have a very hyper offensive team. So this just kind of makes my matchup really difficult. Just to tell you guys about the matchup. So first of all, Venusaur plus Ninetales kind of destroy me. Like stuff like Agility Thunderous destroys me, especially because he has access to Z moves. Because it's really good against offense, like Agility. He'll build outspeed and kill everything, and since I don't have much bulk, that's really difficult for me. Those are the main 2 threats to my team. Like even a SuMo can be kind of scary, but it's really slow, so I'm not as scared of it. And when it also comes to hazard removal, if you just look at Razor's team, he does not have any good hazard removal. His only hazard removal is Mega Latios, so I can get up rocks against him. And on top of that, his weakness to rocks, like he has a huge weakness to rocks, like Aerodactyl, Ninetales, Thundy, Mega Latios, and everything is at least neutral to rocks except for me and Chow. So getting up rocks is going to be super good against his team. And if he does not end up bringing Defog Mega Latios, I'm in a good position. But at the same time, if he gets up rocks against me, I'm in an awful position as well. He also has Rapid Spin on Fortress, but I can make my rocker beat Fortress. So there's that. But his team is just really weak to rocks. Now, if you're looking at my team, my spinner in Excadrill is pretty awful against this team, at least as a spinner, because it does not beat his rockers. It can beat Mamoswine, but if it's Sash Mamoswine, that's still going to be really difficult. Like, he's going to still be able to get up rocks. I can spin on him, but he might bring Dusknoir as well as a spin blocker. But I can't really spin on Fortress. I can try SDing up alongside it and then try beating it like that. But if it has EQ, it can also be like max attack adamant. It's gonna hurt me a lot. So Drill is just a really awful spinner this match. It doesn't have a good matchup either. So it's just kind of hard for me. If he gets up rocks against my team, it's going to be like difficult, and I still need to bring some removal of some kind, so I'm probably going to be having to bring Defog Mega Aerodactyl, which again isn't as reliable as Excadrill, but if I ever am getting hazard stacked, I can make sure to get those off this field. So sorry that I had a really long introduction, but I just want to go over my team. Right now I just want to tell you guys about the matchup, but if you guys can see, I got a Mega Aerodactyl right over here and Defog 3 attacks. So this Mega Aerodactyl is really good against this team. I have Crunch, and this max attack Adamant Crunch, like even if he is max defense Mega Latios, I'm actually still going to be a 2-hit KOing him. So this thing is always there to tell me check Mega Latios. It has, even though I don't have like a ton of bulk, like it could still take any one hit from Mega Latios. I can pivot in on, you know, Side Shocks or Psychics or even a T-Bolt I can take from full. I probably can take a Draco Meteor from full as well, so that's really good for me. You know, I was thinking about Fire Blast originally. He also had Chestnut on his team, and Fire Blast would have also done more to that. But I ended up going with Fire Fang just because the reason why I went with Fire Fang is because it does more to stuff like Venusaur, and Stone Edge and Crunch are my main attacks then, and then I don't really have a good way to even hit Manchow on the switch in. So, and also the thing is that Fire Fang does barely less damage in Fire Blast to the Fortress, and I also have a chance to miss Fire Blast. So that's why I ended up going with Fire Fang. I already explained Defog earlier when I was talking about the team matchup, so let's just move on to Kieran Black. And this is actually a really cool Kieran Black set. This is the first time I'm actually bringing a Z move, and it's mostly there for Z Hail, but I always have the option of going for Z Ice Beam. This is a very, very bulky Kieran Black to help me take on that Mega Venusaur, at least give me like a pseudo switch in. After rocks though, if he is able to get up rocks, and since I don't have very good removal, I'm going to be in a really difficult position because I do not take 2 Sludge Bombs after rocks. Maybe if I was left over or something I could, but I want to be Z Hail just because he is a very hyper offensive team too, and late game the combination of Ice Beam and Fusion Bolt can actually win. It's not like the best set against them. Maybe I should not. It's like a really bulky set. I don't have much like offensive investment either. And originally I was going to go with Blizzard, but I decided Ice Beam was just the best because he does have ways to get rid of Hail, where like he can't get rid of my speed, but if he just brings in Ninetales, he's going to get rid of the Hail, and I want a more accurate move than Blizzard if he gets the sun up. So decided to go with Ice Beam. I don't know if I'll end up clicking the Z Hail throughout the game, but it can be really nice. It's also like the main purpose of this is to be like a pseudo switch into Venusaur. So Venusaur kind of destroys the rest of my team. If you guys can see, like Kieran Black can kind of take it on, but if he gets up rocks, I'm in a really bad position, especially if poisons me on the switch in. Like it just one-shots Clefable, it's going to one-shot Ninja. Weather Ball just one-shots Drill. It can also carry like EQ and stuff for Gengar. Sludge Bomb is going to kill Breloom. Solar Beam just is going to, it's going to kill Aerodactyl after rocks unless I'm a really bulky Aerodactyl. Mesprit can kind of take some hits if I'm like AV, but like still AV isn't really good against the rest of his team. It'll just kill Lanturn. Sledge Bomb is gonna fuck up Blaziken. I was thinking about AV Blaziken at some point, but ended up not going with that. But yeah, this is my Kieran Black set. Let's just move on. I was talking about that thing being very scary, the Venusaur, so I wanted to wait out Speed Venusaur even in the sun, so I decided to go with Choice Scarf Greninja. Ice Beam is actually going to be doing about 50% to it. 50% to the Venusaur, because Venusaur still has really nice bulk. So if I can ever weaken it to that point, you know, that's why rocks are actually going to be really important this game for me to get up, which I have a pretty reliable rocker this week in Mesprit, which I'll get into in a sec. As much chip as I can get on that Mega Venusaur is going to be really nice to put it in range of Ice Beam later in the game. The one problem about this is I don't have a Fairy Resist, and if I end up locking myself into a move that isn't Gunk Shot, it will give a free switch in to his Azumarill, and since I don't have a Fairy Resist, if he's like banned at Azumarill, I can be in a lot of trouble. But I do have ways to take on Azumarill, even though it might not look like it. I'm still very weak to it, but I'll explain that later, especially when I get up to our Mesprit. So pretty much, like, you know, Scald is there for pretty much Mamoswine. Ice Beam, I already explained that. It's also nice, you know, as another way to hit Mega Latios besides Dark Pulse, and Gunk Shot is obviously there for the Azumarill. I can, this defense investment actually is really important because it allows me to take, I decided to go hasty. This is just how like the EVs worked, end up going in my favor. Like, it looks like a weird EV spread, but it just allows me to take like an Aqua Jet from Azumarill, better Ice Charge from Mamoswine, especially if it's like Belly Drum Azumarill. This defense investment is going to come in clutch because I can live in Aqua Jet and then just kill it with a Gunk Shot. So there's that. And my next set is going to actually be the Clefable. So Clefable, this is just actually a Kebia Cosmic Power Clefable. He's a very hyper offensive team. I said earlier, my good pal Razor does. So Cosmic Power is can be a really good late game against, like, if he has like a lot of offensive things left, like especially like it's really good for Azumarill and Mamoswine. I outspeed Azumarill, so even if he's banned, I can Cosmic Power up on it with the speed investment, and he's not going to be able to 2-hit KO me with Play Rough. And after Cosmic Power, Mamoswine's not doing a ton of damage to me either. I think I can Cosmic Power up on Mamo, like I can take an Earthquake, Cosmic Power up, and then he won't be able to kill me with another Earthquake. Don't quote me on this because I built this team a while ago, but yeah. What's also nice about Kebia Berry is that it gives me another kind of check to Venusaur, even if I don't have a Cosmic Power up, because if the sun is up, he's going to go for Sludge Bomb. I'm actually going to guarantee live it because of my Kebia Berry, and Fire Blast is going to be doing about 70 to 80% in the sun, so that's going to be really nice. Fire Blast is just there also for Fortress, you know, don't want him to allow to get hazards up against me and stuff like that, so that's going to be really nice. This thing is a nice late game win condition as well as Kieran Black. These are my main two late game win conditions. Even Greninja can be a win condition, and Aerodactyl as well. Like, all of these can actually be win conditions against his team. And we're going to get into the mons that are not really win conditions at all. They're just more there for bulk and to help support my team with, you know, the first off, we're going to go to Lanturn. I really want to be Air Balloon and really be like a really Spadef set, but that ended up not working because even if I'm like max Spadef, Focus Blast is going to be like Z Focus Blast from Thundy T. If it gets up to like +2 with the Nasty Plot, is actually going to just OHKO me after rocks, and that's not very reliable. Like, Lanturn at that point is not doing his job right, and on top of that, without any special attack investment, Ice Beam is doing less than half to Thundy T, so it can just set up some nasty plots on me, and I wanted to make sure that Ice Beam can at least do 50% of Thundy T, so that's why I have this special attack investment. Of course, I went up going to AV, and this is mostly there again. I said a million times, it's there for Thundy T to help me switch into that thing, and it can give me a lot of momentum throughout the match if he lets his Thundy T go down, or if he doesn't bring Thundy T, I can use this a lot more carelessly, and it can just be there as a nice pivot for Razor's entire team. Yeah, but it would have been really nice to have Air Balloon because it would give me a way to check Mamo, because my team, especially the one that I brought, is sort of weak to Mamo. I have ways to revenge kill it, and something to let you guys know, Ice Beam, because of the terrible ability, it's actually going to be neutral on his Mamoswine. That's something I was forgetting throughout a lot of the time when I was team building, but yeah, Ice Beam is going to go through thick that, so this is actually neutral on Mamoswine, so I have a way to hit it. But yeah, that's pretty much this team, or this Lanturn, and let's get into the last mon real quick. This is going to be a pretty bulky Mesprit, and it helps me take on Azumarill plus Mamoswine. I have Energy Ball for both of them. Toxic, mostly for the Mega Latios, but it's pretty much for anything on his team, just the toxic stuff that I cannot hit with my coverage. And of course, I have Hinfire Fire because that is able to beat his spinner in Fortress, and I want to make sure that I'm able to get my rocks up. And obviously Toxic helps me beat his Mega Latios. So like, especially if it's like a bulky one, I can guarantee my rocks up if he wants to try defogging them and stuff like that. So that is the team that I am bringing this week. Pretty fun team. Like, I have Z, Hale, Kieran Black. I have a cool Mega Aerodactyl set. You know, Mega Aerodactyl is always a fun mon. It's adamant. It's going to be doing a ton of damage. And I have Scarf for Ninja. So hopefully you guys like my team builder. Hopefully like you learned something or something. I don't know. But let's get right into the battle this week. I'll see you guys there. Alright, we are here with the actual battle up against Razorwolf 24. And let me just check Discord. Okay, real quick. Sorry about that. Really unprofessional, but yeah, as you can see, Razor brought a really weird team, and I actually forgot to say this in the team builder part, which I think is a really important thing to say in the team builder part, because I think it is a part of prep, kind of like scouting. And I didn't know that there's a good chance that Razor would bring Dusknoir, even though I felt that it didn't have a good matchup against my team, like, at all, because, you know, like, it doesn't even wall it doesn't wall anything on my team, and it doesn't even wall Mega Aerodactyl, because even if it's max defense, Crunch actually like 2 KOs, like it does 60% to it. So I didn't see the reason for him bringing Dusknoir, but I know that Razor is really innovative with his like lower tier pick. Like he likes really innovative mons like Dusknoir. Like I know that he brought Regigigas in season 5 against against Jolt, and he brought it many times throughout, like, you know, his NPL career, stuff like that. Ended up beating Jolt because of a Confuse race set, and also because Jolt is he's unlucky, and because of that game, actually, Confusion ended up getting banned in the NPL because, you know, Jolt's a salty cunt. But just kidding. But now Confusion's banned in the NPL and ended up getting a nerf in Gen 7, which is really, really cool. But I'm going to go through this game a bit quickly. I actually recorded this game already, and I ended up actually deleting the recording because I'm an idiot. So I think right over here, based on this team, like you can see the team, he didn't end up bringing the Sun Core, which is really, really weird to me. And that's I had so much prep for the Sun Core, which kind of sucks. But I was really confused because I thought the only reason he picked up the Sun Core was for me, because at this point Razor needs to get a couple of wins to prevent himself from getting relegated. He's in a really difficult conference, so making playoffs is going to be very, very difficult for him. But I thought that he really needed to get some wins, and I thought that was the reason why he picked up the Sun Core against me. So I'm actually going to lead off with my Mesprit. I assume that he's leading off with his Aerodactyl because that is his only rocker on his team. It looks like a Sash Aerodactyl based on the team composition. So I'm going to just lead off with my Mesprit, and I'm going to click Energy Ball first turn to break a potential Sash. He looks like a lead Aerodactyl, and he can just taunt me, so no reason to get up rocks just yet, as I'm just going to pivot out into my Clefable because there's a good chance he would go for Stone Edge right over here. I didn't want my Mesprit getting weakened, so I'm just going to go out into my Clefable. He's going to taunt again as I'm going to go for a Moonblast. And he does not have good Moonblast switch-ins on his team. He didn't bring anything for Clefable, but he's just going to go hard to Dusknoir. And from this Moonblast damage, we're actually going to see that he's just max HP. So I'm really wondering what this Dusknoir is right now. I'm thinking right now he might be a bit speedy with Taunt, like maybe some like Tout Speed, No Speed Clefable to prevent it from setting up. And then maybe Pain Split to try and beat it 1v1. So I wasn't really sure what this set was going to be, and I should have probably scouted for it still, because I didn't expect the set that like he ended up being, which was Trick Band, and he's going to Trick Band me right here, which really sucks because if you guys look at the rest of Razor's team, he actually just straight up kind of loses to this Clefable. Like, he has no switch-ins. I Cosmic Power up on the Azumarill since they outspeed. After Cosmic Power, Thundy isn't doing much unless he has Nasty Plot. That could be an issue, but still, he might be Calm Mind Latios, but in general, this Clefable kind of just shot on his team. His Aerodactyl was also super low, and it died once I got up rocks, so there's also that. But now I'm locked into Moonblast, and it's still not a bad Pokemon versus team because he does not have good Moonblast switch-ins, so there is that. And right here, I'm just going to go for another Moonblast and kill off this Dusknoir, but it kind of sucks that I'm now tricked because it also makes me a bit weaker to Mienshao. If I let this Clefable get weakened, which I end up doing because he goes on Azumarill, and I don't have a good switch into this. I want Mesprit healthy because it is my best check to Mienshao if it's locked in a high jump kick. If it isn't Scarf, then I always have checks to it in Mega Aerodactyl. And Greninja checks it anyway. It does about like 65 to 70% with Scald to the Mienshao. So once I get a bit weakened, if he is Scarf, I have a way to revenge kill it still. So right here, I'm just going to go for Moonblast because I want to weaken this thing, and I'm going to be taking a ton of damage if he is the Bandit set. And I also went for Moonblast in case he was Belly Drum, because I would have been able to live a Aqua Jet guaranteed at +6 and gotten another Moonblast off and killed it. So that's why I did that, but he's just going to go for the Play Rough, and at this point, just going to get another Moonblast off and put this Azumarill really low for later in the game. And after that, I can just go into Mesprit, and right here, I lost my Clefable, so I'm not in the best position, but I can go for Energy Ball to kill this thing right here. Another play I could do is go for Rocks, and then if he goes for Play Rough, I'd be put at around 40%. But Rocks are very, very important because he has Rocks up on his side and I don't. And one Aerodactyl dies to Rocks at this range, and it's really, really important for Thundee T because my only real check to it is Lanturn, and after Lanturn dies, it can actually just sweep my team. So since my only check is Lanturn, every time that Lanturn comes in, it's getting punished by Rocks, and Thundee T isn't getting punished at all because Rocks aren't up on his side of the field. So I really want to, I really need Rocks because I don't want my Lanturn only getting punished, and like if he plays really aggressively and keeps on forcing my Lanturn in, he can slowly weaken it with Rocks, and I could end up losing late games to some Thundee T, maybe it's like Double Dance or something. So I'm thinking about getting up Rocks, but I needed Mesprit healthy, so I was thinking I was going to get up Rocks later in the game, and I end up going for the Energy Ball and killing this thing. I'm also going to get some leftovers health back, so that's really nice, but he's going to go into Thundee right here, and I'm going to have to switch out. I'm planning on maybe getting my Rocks up against Mienshao if it's locked into like high jump kick or something. That's the plan right now, but I'm going to be forced to go on my Lanturn as he Sledge Waves, and that does nothing. And right here, I'm just going to go for an Ice Beam as he goes on to his Mienshao, and that is perfect for me because this damage now puts it in range of Scarf Scald from my Greninja. So I always have a way to check this Mienshao now, which is really good for me. As right here, I need this Lanturn to keep it alive to prevent me from losing a Thundee T. So I think right here, I have one of two plays. I can either go into Mesprit because, you know, he can go for high jump kick right here, and I don't think a Scarf high jump kick will do a KO. Again, I don't know what kind of variant he is. He could be Banded, and if he is Banded again, Mesprit isn't really that important. Its only real use is to get up Rocks, but if he is Banded, I'm not going to be able to get a chance to get up Rocks. Now, I also might not want to go into Mesprit because if he is Scarf and he goes for Knockoff right here, expecting my Mesprit, I'm in not a good position as well. So that was one of my plays, Mesprit, and the other one was Kieran Black. So Kieran Black, especially since Rocks are up, is not really doing much this match because it dies a high jump kick from his Mienshao, it dies to Draco Meteor from his Latios, it dies to like a Z Focus Blast from his Thundee T, and it dies to Stone Edge from his Aerodactyl. So Z Hail is really good against the rest of his team, but there's not really many opportunities for me to get it up. Maybe if his Mienshao gets locked into Knockoff or something, but again, if I do get Z Heal up, his Mienshao is Scarf, so it's going to be able to outspeed my Kieran Black even at +1. So I decided that I was going to go out into Kieran Black, and if he did end up going for the knockoff play expecting Mesprit, that would be really good for me because that means I can just fire off an Ice Beam, and he does not have an Ice Resist. So And if he did end up going for a jump kick, that is kind of bad, but I think it's still my best play to sack off Kieran Black at this point. So I'm just going to go to Kieran Black as he actually ends up going for that jump kick, and I'm going to lose my Kieran Black, which is fine because now I get a free switch out of my Mesprit, and this means that I can finally get my rocks up. This means that Aerodactyl dies to rocks, and Thundy T is going to start getting pressured. And I have a way to beat Thundy T with my Lanturn. Aerodactyl, I don't need to worry about it. I can handle Latios with the combination of Crunch Aerodactyl as well as Dark Pulse Greninja, and Mienshao can be handled by Scarf Greninja with Scald. So I'm looking at a pretty decent situation right now, as I'm just going to get my rocks up at this point. I expected him to a good chance for him to switch out, as he just goes out into Aerodactyl, and I can now go for the Energy Ball and kill this thing. I'm going to be taking a ton of damage, but that's fine. Although that Stone Edge damage does put me in range of a max special attack Draco Meteor from his Mega Latios, if he is max special attack. If he isn't, and he doesn't have Draco or something, then I can actually get a Toxic off right here, which would be really nice to start weakening this thing into range of Dark Pulse for Greninja, or even Crunch from my Mega Aerodactyl. So I'm just going to go for Toxic right here, as he actually just kills me with a Draco Meteor. So he seems to be a more offensive set, but he could still be Roost Calm Mind Draco Meteor. I think that was a really good set versus my team. And right over here, I go onto my Greninja, and right here I just go for the Ice Beam because it's going to 2-hit KO pretty much anything that he wants to bring in. As that's exactly what I'm going to do, and he decides to sack off Thundy T, which is really nice for me. Probably the best thing to sack off for me because I do have a Lanturn. No, probably the worst thing to sack off. I'd rather him sack off Mega Latios or Mienshao, because I have a guaranteed way to wall his Thundy T and Rocks her up to still pressure it. But that's actually, it's really good though that he did sack off the Thundy T, because that puts a lot less pressure off on my Lanturn, and it means that Lanturn can be a sack right over here to his Mienshao, which is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to sack off my Mienshao, and then I can go out into my Greninja, and I switched out because I was locked in Ice Beam, but now I can just fire off a Scald, as I revealed that I'm Scarf right here, assuming that he's also Scarf Mienshao, which is what I think he is. And now we're in a really tricky situation right here, and I'm going to try to explain it as well as I can. But he has a Mega Latios out, and I have a Greninja, and he knows that I'm locked into Scald. I also have a Aerodactyl in the back, which can not guarantee kill him with Crunch, depending on his investment. Later in the game, I found out that he doesn't have any bulk at all. But if he did have some bulk, he probably would be able to live a Crunch from this range. So there's that. I also had to he could live a Crunch from this range potentially, but I ended up finding his EV spread after the game, and he would have not, but I still couldn't risk that. And right here is a really difficult play, because I'm locked in a Scald, and if I sack off Mega Aerodactyl and I go on a Greninja, he's actually out of range of Scarf Dark Pulse, unless I am modest, but I am timid. So if I go out into my Aerodactyl right here, I'm thinking that he has a couple of plays. So if he's Calm Mind, then his play might be to Calm Mind right here. And if he does Calm Mind, I get a free switch on my Mega Aerodactyl. I can Crunch that thing. He can kill me. And after Crunch, he will guarantee be in range of Greninja's Dark Pulse, even if he gets a Calm Mind up. If he does just go straight up for a Draco Meteor right over here, he will kill my Aerodactyl, but he's going to be at -2. And after Rocks, my Greninja most likely lives a Draco Meteor at -2. And that means I can go for a Dark Pulse. It won't kill. He goes for another Draco Meteor, and he's not going to be able to kill my Greninja. And then I will be able to kill his Mega Latios with another Dark Pulse. Now, I was not thinking of coverage moves like Surf. I knew that if he had T-Bolt, that would be really bad, but I didn't think there was any chance he would have T-Bolt in the matchup, because I also have a Drill. It didn't make much sense as a coverage move. Now the thing though is that I I think my best play in hindsight was probably to scout, because if I went for Scald right here, that would have guaranteed put him in range of crunch from a Mega Aerodactyl. And if he did decide to kill me, then I would have always won with Mega Aerodactyl at the end. Now if he did Roost and I Scalded, I always had 1, the chance to get the burn, and 2, after a Draco Meteor, if he kills this thing with Draco Meteor, I'm pretty sure my Mega Aerodactyl lives at Draco Meteor. So at -2. So I think, and like also I could have kind of scouted him a little bit. Like I could have scouted for like a coverage move or something like that. As we're gonna see right here, I end up making the play into Mega Aerodactyl, and also I was thinking that this gave me my best chance to win, because if he somehow did have a coverage move and killed my Mega Aerodactyl, and I could go on my Greninja and I still had a 30% chance to flinch him with Dark Pulse. But right here I'm gonna go on my Mega Aerodactyl as he reveals that he is Surf Mega Latios, and that really sucks because I needed him to kill me with Draco Meteor to get him at -2 so that my Greninja could live another Draco Meteor. And so now I'm in a really bad spot and I have to flinch this Dark Pulse, and we're gonna see, am I gonna be able to flinch it? I just crit him, so that really sucks, and I'm so sorry, Razor. It's awful. But I usually never get hacks in my favor. This is actually probably the 3rd time overall I've ever won a league game because of hacks, and I've lost at least 15 league games to hacks in my, I guess my career. But yeah, that really sucks. I'm not sure how I feel about this match. It's a really weird game. I thought the team that he brought was really weird. I don't agree with having a trick banned Dusknoir just because I have a very offensive team, and I brought balance this week, but usually I bring hyper offense, and trick banned, if I brought like a really hyper offensive team, would have pretty much been useless against me. So I don't know. I feel like that was a really weird set for his Dusknoir, and I don't think that it should have been brought, but it did work out for him. It did. I feel like he had better ways to also deal with Clefable. Like he could have brought Venusaur or something, which I'm really confused why he did not bring. Yeah, not sure. Pretty much, it's a weird game, and I'm really sorry to Razor about the hacks, though. Make sure you go check out Razor. He's now at college, so I don't know if he's gonna end up uploading this game. It's his like 1st or 2nd week at college, and I remember when I was at college, I was always struggling on how I was gonna record my games and stuff. But yeah, make sure to go check him out. This was a really good game, and I'm sorry if the commentary for the actual battle wasn't that good. This is my 2nd time recording it because I accidentally deleted the first recording of the battle, and I'm a bit frustrated right now. I have to now go edit it, and hopefully I can get this up within the next hour or 2. Yeah, this also puts us at a 4-3 record with a +3 differential. We're tied with Blake for 1st in our conference. He actually has the same exact record as me, 4-3 +3, and he has the same amount of conference wins and everything. So we're literally tied. There's no way to differentiate us except our head-to-head match, which hasn't happened yet, which is actually going to happen next week, and that's going to be a super huge game because we're both tied for 1st in our conference, and whoever wins that game is going to be in an amazing position, and if whoever loses that game is going to be in a position where they might not end up making playoffs. Like, it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be not difficult, but it's going to make it a bit harder for them to make playoffs. So that's a huge game against Blake next week. He's a good friend of mine. I've battled him many times in the format before, so hope you guys are excited for that, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.